Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time doing once again, another Christmas film review. And this one is on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw, Disney Christmas film review. Now, as you know, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw is meant to be a Christmas comedy the film, which of course was released on Disney Plus on December the 5th, 2025. And we all know from the third live action Diary of a Wimpy Kid film, Dog Days, was using some elements of The Last Straw. So I think obviously taking place after the whole Christmas one made more sense, and obviously kind of showing just how, even though Greg might be slowly redeeming himself, his past behaviour and actions do go unnoticed. And the premise of the film is meant to follow Frank Heffley, who obviously has to kind of question and slowly see if he really is a good father, and slowly has to kind of keep track of Greg's destructive, irresponsible, and irredeemable behaviour. And we do kind of see how, after getting the idea to send Greg to Spag Union, which is basically a sort of military school that could help Greg be a better person. But we all know Greg is going to see this as basically like something that he's going to be against. He's obviously going to try to worm his way of getting out of it and tries to join the Boy Scouts. And the whole point of the film's message is about the dangers of lying, manipulating, and tricking people to get out of something, then understanding to take full responsibility for your own actions. And we do kind of see how, obviously, because of Greg not having the right role model, no one to really properly scold him, we kind of see how his actions and behaviour lead to more problems that obviously hit you over the head, that Greg made the wrong decisions. As, yeah, he basically causes Patty to hate him even more, and her reasons for wanting revenge is actually justified. We see how he even basically makes deals and promises with one of the kids in detention to get these sort of special reward things to make it look like Greg actually completed something when he didn't. And this only causes Frank to finally question if Greg is really redeemable. Again, I think Spag Union would have been the only option Frank had on the table, and it's even clear that obviously he isn't proud of Greg's behaviour, and this does remind me a bit of the Owl House, because of Lucy's being creative, destructive, as well as her over-the-board imagination. This only gave her school and the principal no other option. And again, the whole point of basically reality check camp in the series was meant to help students similar to Luce understand to dial it back on their love for things. And again, Luce had no one to blame but herself for getting almost sent there. It's like Greg. Greg had no one to blame but himself for putting himself in that situation. And you do kind of see how both Frank and Greg have to kind of question if their methods are really working. I think what the live action counterpart does try to do is show Frank obviously idolising his neighbour, thinking he was this great role model. I think here it's just going with someone who obviously has to be friendly, but obviously has moments to show even he questions his relationship with his own son. I think what both films try to do is, unlike Dog Days, that kind of goes right towards the whole idol being revealed thing, is that Greg has to use his smarts, his wit, and what he learnt to help kind of get him and the other campers out from being lost in the woods. And it does show Frank now slowly seeing that Greg can learn from his mistakes when the situation calls for it. And it's clear that even Frank doesn't want to send him to Spag Union, but was the only option. But he does have to slowly see that Greg is capable of being redeemed when he slowly has to see the consequences of his actions. And sometimes, yeah, people can change and learn when they know they've messed up, or have to slowly question their actions. If someone doesn't, or they don't really think through their actions, sometimes military school, basically juvenile detention centers of that, are the only option, because sometimes people have got to learn things the hard way if they are gonna have to see what can go wrong. So I think, to me, Dora Wimpy Kid: The Last Straw is an okay Christmas film. It knows what it has to be. It has to be something to tell a hard truth. It knows it has to be realistic with the story. And it's just kind of showing another Greg learning from his mistakes storyline, despite Frank and everyone around him having justified reasons for being cautious about him. So it definitely deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, but kind of okay. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.